Just like the secretary to the agency, NTA, and my colleagues had succinctly explained there, the issue surrounding drug abuse and the push is actually multifactorial, right? And I would want to look at an angle that hadn't been pointed out so far, which is the fact that currently we have a high surge of young people who participate in internet fraud, right? An important thing about this particular category of individual is that you know, there is a need for them to perform most of their activities at the night, right? So the implication of this is that, you know, the normal cycle that the normal biological clock that requires an individual to be able to go to bed at a certain time, right? So, but in this case, for them to be able to continue to perform the activities that they engage in, they would need to make use of some certain substances, and in this case, unfortunately, has to do with the psychoactive substances. So here we look at a class of medication, including the cannabinoids, the methamphetamines, the opioids, the cocaines, the heroin, the codeines, etc. Right? So what this does is that they could start by, okay, I need to use this to improve my work output, right? But unfortunately, from using it to improve their work output, they begin to develop tolerance, right? They begin to develop dependence, and eventually it becomes a substance use disorder for them that, in the layman's term, we could begin to see that it has mastered the ability to be in control of use of that drug when they want to use. So it becomes a problem. Right? Then another important factor that also contributes is the fact that across the age group that had been cited, the fact that about 14.3 million Nigerians between the ages of 15 to 64 years old uses psychoactive substance or uses drug, right? Is the fact that we also have a desire among this age group to improve on their sexual ability or sexual skills, or if you wish. So the individual desires to last for, say, 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours, you know. And just like my colleague rightly pointed out, the media, right? So you see scenarios, movies, where, you know, there is a picture of what should be the sexual power, in quotes, of a male or a female, right? The duration you are supposed to last, you know, and it gives a certain negative perception. So you find individuals desiring to meet up with such expectations that the society unknowingly had placed on them. So what happens? They go into use of these substances. Some substances actually had been identified to improve sexual ability. So what happens? From using it, you know, once in a while to improve their sexual ability, they begin to develop the same tolerance, the same dependence, and it becomes a problem. Then eventually they could end up coming down with a number of factors. Another aspect we may need to highlight here, which would also be very important, is what we call the economic and the compulsive model, you know, that relates drug use and crime. However, we are not going to, our focus won't be the aspect of the crime, right? So you see that an individual begins to use psychoactive substance for whatsoever reason that they started use, just like the other guest speakers had highlighted. So what happens? Eventually, they develop the tolerance, they develop the dependence, and the drug masters them, the architecture of the brain areas that are able to enable an individual to inhibit some behaviors and control what they desire to do and want to do are distorted, are broken down. So that begins to make the individual to desire to acquire the same drug. That's compulsive behavior. So you find out that apparently they are no longer in charge of when they want to use the drug or not. So that contributes to the factors that makes them to present. Thank you.